Your parrot bit you again. It turned its back the moment you walked into the room. And somewhere quiet in your mind, a painful thought appeared. What if your bird actually hates you? It feels personal. It feels like rejection from a creature you have fed, protected, and loved with everything you have. But before you let that thought take root, there is something you need to understand, because almost everything these behaviors seem to mean is wrong, and the truth underneath them is far more emotional than hate. A parrot is not a pet in the way a goldfish or a hamster is a pet. A parrot is a flock animal with a brain wired for connection, vigilance, and survival. In the wild, these birds live their entire lives surrounded by others, calling back and forth across the trees, never truly alone, never out of earshot of the flock. When that bird lands in your living room, it does not stop being that animal. It simply turns you into its flock. So every signal it sends, even the ones that sting, is built on a deep, ancient need to stay safe and stay connected. Hate is not part of that system. Fear is. Overstimulation is. Confusion is. And the first sign people misread is the bite. When a parrot bites, the story we tell ourselves is that it is angry at us. But a bite is almost never the first thing a parrot tries. It is the last. Long before the beak makes contact, the bird usually leaned away, pinned its eyes, flattened its feathers, or shifted its weight backward. Those were quieter words. The bite is what happens when the quieter words were not heard. So a bite is rarely hate. It is more often a sentence that begins with "please stop" and ends only because nothing else worked. The second sign is the scream that erupts the moment you leave the room. It feels like punishment. It sounds like protest. But in the wild, a flock that scatters stays connected through contact calls, loud sounds thrown across distance to say, "Where are you? I am here. Come back." When your bird screams as you walk away, it is not cursing you. It is calling you. It is doing the most natural thing its body knows how to do, reaching out across the empty space to find its flock again. The third sign is the bird that lunges when your hand comes close. Your instinct says aggression. But watch the speed of your own hand the next time. Parrots are prey animals as much as they are companions, and a fast hand moving toward a small body can trigger an old alarm that has nothing to do with you personally. The lunge can sometimes be a warning, a way of saying that approach felt unsafe. Slow the hand down, and often the same bird that lunged will lean in. The fourth sign is the cold shoulder, the bird that turns its back when you appear. We read it as sulking, as a grudge. But turning away can mean many things depending on the rest of the body, and it often is not rejection at all. A relaxed bird that turns its back to you while preening is showing trust, because in the wild you only turn your back on someone you feel safe beside. The signal we fear the most can sometimes be the signal of the deepest comfort. The fifth sign is the refusal to step up, the bird that will not come to your hand. It feels like defiance. But a parrot that hesitates is often a parrot exercising the one thing it craves most, which is choice. In captivity, so little is in the bird's control. The cage, the food, the schedule, the people, all decided by someone else. When a bird chooses not to step up, it may simply be reclaiming a small piece of autonomy, and the kindest answer is not force but patience. The sixth sign is biting the very person it seems most bonded to. This one confuses owners the most, because the favorite person becomes the target. But intense attachment in parrots is driven partly by hormones and pair bonding instincts, and chemicals tied to bonding, like mesotocin, can deepen attachment to a single individual. An overbonded bird can become protective, possessive, and overstimulated, and that intensity sometimes spills over into a nip. It is not hate. It is love turned up far too loud, with no other outlet. The seventh sign is the bird that fluffs up, slicks down, or freezes when you reach toward it. Feather position is one of the richest languages a parrot has. Fluffing can mean comfort or it can mean the bird is unwell. Slit tight feathers and a frozen body often signal fear. The same bird, in two different moods, can look completely different, which is exactly why a single behavior should never be read as a single emotion. Watch the whole body, the eyes, the stance, the breathing, before you decide what your bird is feeling. The eighth sign is eye pinning, the rapid shrinking and widening of the pupils. It can look intense, even hostile. But eye pinning is simply a sign of heightened emotion and arousal, and that emotion can be excitement, curiosity, fear, or overstimulation. Pinned eyes paired with a relaxed body can mean a bird that is fascinated by you. Pinned eyes paired with a stiff posture and a raised foot can mean back off. Context, as always, is everything. The ninth sign is the bird that screams or destroys when you are home but ignored. We call it bad behavior. But a parrot's intelligence is enormous, with a densely packed brain region that supports learning, problem solving, and memory. A mind like that, left without engagement, does not switch off. It searches for stimulation, and a loud sound or a shredded object is often the result of a brilliant brain that has nothing to do and no flock to do it with. The 10th sign is the bird that seems to pull away from you over time, that grows distant and reactive. It feels like the relationship is ending. But trust in parrots is not given once and kept forever. It is rebuilt every single day through predictability, gentle routine, and respect for the bird's signals. A bird that has learned to expect fast hands, ignored warnings, or unpredictable handling will protect itself by withdrawing. The distance is not hate. It is self-protection, and it can be reversed by becoming the calm, steady presence the flock instinct is searching for. So look again at those 10 signs. The bite that begged you to stop. The scream that called you back. The lunge that feared your speed. The turn back that trusted you. The refusal that asked for choice. The nip born of too much love. The frozen feathers that hid fear. The pinned eyes alive with feeling. The noise of a mind with nowhere to go. The distance built from being misunderstood. Not one of them is hate. Every one of them is a message, sent in the only language your bird has, hoping that this time, you will finally understand. None of this replaces veterinary or professional behavior advice, and every parrot is different. Species matters, age matters, health matters, hormones matter, history matters. If a behavior could be linked to pain, illness, hormonal distress, feather destruction, or serious fear or aggression, please speak with an avian veterinarian or a qualified parrot behavior professional. But for so many of these moments, the answer is gentler than you feared. Your parrot does not hate you. It has been talking to you this whole time. If you want to understand your bird beyond the obvious behavior, subscribe for more calm, emotional, science-based parrot psychology and learn to hear what your bird has been trying to say all along.